but the days won't come. Show me life, show me love. This is all we got. Show me life, show me love. This is all we got. Show me love, show me love.
Hello, all. Welcome to the first episode of Purpose in Chaos.
Chaos. Welcome to the very first episode of Purpose in Chaos, guys. This is the second time. Can you hear me okay? This is the second time that we are attempting to shoot this content. The devil is alive and well and trying to make sure that we don't become our best selves. So we recorded it once and I thought we did a good job until we watched the footage over, and the footage was not good. It was blurry. And then I got sick yesterday with a sore throat, so we weren't able to film then. It's just like, you just notice that you're trying to be stopped, but we will not be stopped.
We won't be stopped. I think that, I think the first day of recording was a good test run. Get some, learning curve out the way.
Yeah.
But
whenever you do something, there's going to be a learning curve. That's inevitable, right?
yeah, absolutely. Especially with this. We're, first endeavor together
We're
on a
noobs.
podcast. Definitely noobs.
So if we want to have the content run straight through, but, like we said, we're new. So if the video goes out or something happens with the mic, whatever, then I'm going to have to stop it and press record again. But, yeah, we're going to do our best to not have to do that.
All right. So let's kickstart it with who we are.
Welcome to Purpose in Chaos.
Welcome. It's a pleasure to be here. We hope that.
Oh, wait, we didn't even say our names. Who are you? Purpose in Chaos with
Tone and Rocks.
Tone and Rocks, you guys. Tone and Rocks. So we are a married couple.
Yes, we are. We've been married for a little. Actually, this past December was our 10-year. So we're like 10 years and 5 months.
Shout out to us.
We come from a creative background. We've got 3 amazing kids. Which
we have a teenager.
We'll deep dive into all this stuff, either this episode or maybe one of the next episodes. But this first episode, we'd like to explain what this pod means to us and why we started it,
and give context to who we are as people, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And as a preface, we're going to be talking about things that we can only speak on, obviously. So that's going to be our experiences and our opinions. And we understand that you may or may not disagree, may or may not agree with what we...
our opinion or perspective.
Yeah, and that's completely okay. We can agree to disagree, and there would be no love lost. Everyone's entitled to their own opinions, and we don't gotta hate each other about it. We can just agree to disagree.
We're just here to share. We're just here to share. So the purpose of this pod is to create a safe space for us to share with the world basically who we are, what we've been through, the things we've learned, share our perspectives on life, on marriage, parenting, relationships, religion. That's a huge part of who we are. And we wanted a place where we can connect with each other and with other people to just find connection with us and with other people in terms of like the things that we've been through, and maybe offer some kind of inspiration or like light.
Yeah, some things maybe that we've gone through people can relate to, and find a way to heal through the things that we're sharing.
There are going to be some things that might be hard to hear.
Yeah.
Especially in this first episode where we deep dive into our backgrounds, because we have both come from some really tough beginnings, but we're going to deep dive into that for a second. But if you are sensitive to things like abuse, or if you don't like curse words, because we might throw out a couple curses every now and then, but if you're sensitive to maybe child abuse, period, like anything like that, then this may not be the episode for you to watch. Maybe you can come around on the next one, but there is going to be some sensitive topics in this one because that's just where we came from. So we're just going to tell it how it is.
Yeah, we're going to keep things raw and real, and we're not going to sugarcoat it for this platform or any platform that
no sugarcoating.
Yeah, we just want to be as, genuine to who we are.
So if I can give some context to why this whole thing even started, I personally have been on social media for a few years now, and I've always had this burning desire. What is that noise? Is that me? I've always had this burning desire to like share my testimony, because I know that what I've been through, probably a lot of people have been through, and not a lot of people like to talk and share about like dark things that happened in their past. But a lot of the times, well, mostly every time, like that's what makes you who you are, and your experiences and where you come from, how you grew up, how you were raised, all of that has to play in the kind of people that you grow up to be. And I've always wanted to share so bad, but I've only been able to share like a few videos here and there on my Instagram and my TikTok, and I just feel like, what is that? Is that the dishwasher? If you hear background noise, we're in our house, so don't mind it. But I've always wanted to share, but the short form content, like the short form content on Instagram and TikTok, it's just not enough time to give context to what kind of person I am and what I've really been through, and like how I can possibly share my story in hopes of helping other people. So God put this idea in my mind while I was in the shower a few months ago, and we're finally here doing it. And I knew from like the second that the Holy Spirit told me to do it, was that is where I wanted to end up. And so we're ending up here. We're here now. And in terms of the name, you want to talk about the name a little bit?
Yeah. So everyone has been through some chaos in their life. Some people at different levels of chaos, but either way, those traumatic experiences, that chaotic feeling,
things you don't understand,
fleeting moments of like, oh, this is like the end of my life kind of thing, when it may or may not be. But out of that, there is purpose. You can find purpose in that. You are the purpose. You are who you are because of your experiences. And while in the moment it may be really hard to go through and to live through it, when you are on the other side of it, you become who you are meant to be. And so that really is the reason for the title of this podcast and the reasoning why we created it is because, like,
for me, there was a few different reasons.
Yeah, for sure, but
because I was the one that came up with the name. That we landed on.
and because of who we are and what we've gone through individually, but also together after marriage in our union, there has been a lot of chaos, but we have found our purpose through it all.
Yes.
And I think we're at a better place than we have been in a long time, and it's nice to find that clarity. And I'm really happy to be doing this with you, to share and be someone's light.
You're my light.
You're my light.
I love you.
I love you.
You're so gorgeous.
You're gorgeous. I'm gorgeous to match you're gorgeous. So yeah, that's really why we started this, and it's to be real. It's to be as straightforward as we can.
First of all, this world is chaotic.
Yeah.
In itself.
Yeah.
We live in a very, very chaotic world, and it was hard trying to find reasoning, like, why are we here? What is the reason that we are here? What's the purpose? So that also attributed to the name, but also personally, my brain, the way my brain works is sometimes extremely chaotic, and prior to...
Definitely a beautiful mind.
Thank you, baby. Prior to figuring out that a podcast was ultimately what I wanted to do for the both of us, because when we first got married, I knew that we were supposed to be doing something together. And throughout the 10 years that we've been together, we never really clung on to the one thing that we were supposed to be doing together. And that always drove me crazy. So, like, I always tried to figure out, like, what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? Like, my brain was always searching. So that for me was very chaotic. But now that we have landed on what we're doing together and we're both as equally as passionate, now I feel like we're in our purpose.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the purpose in chaos is so fitting for who we are as people, number one, the world that we live in, number two, and how we came about in our marriage, number three.
Yeah. And for the podcast, it's not just going to be about our experiences. We are looking forward to bringing on guests who can also share their experiences and the chaos that they went through to find their purposes. And so it really is sharing these stories and experiences of chaos and finding the way through, right?
We just want to help be a light for somebody.
Yeah. And we're big believers of being personable, and the greatest way to connect with someone is through their heart.
Aww.
And so if we can connect our heart to your heart, or our guest's heart to y'all, that's going to be the most effective.
We've done our job.
Especially in this season of life that we're in, I've come to understand that, you know, all that other stuff that people strive for doesn't really matter, right? It's really that heart-to-heart connection.
Mm-hmm.
Where you can, it's okay to be different, and it's okay to be have different views on things.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, we're all just humans, and you know,
everyone is trying to find a purpose.
Right. Even when you think you've found your purpose,
sometimes it switches up, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So sometimes people have multiple purposes.
So we'll be talking about like family, marriage, parenting,
A plethora.
a plethora of things, our faith, but we don't want this to have you guys think that this is like a religious podcast.
So we are newly saved.
Yeah.
We are newly saved. We do technically identify as Christian, but really we're just lovers of Jesus, and it's because he's shown up in our life, and God has
saved me for sure.
Yeah, God has shown up tenfold in our life, and we are just so ever grateful for that. So that is going to come up. Our belief and our faith is going to come up, because that's such a huge part of who we are, and we are totally unapologetic about that. And yeah, we're proud. I'm proud.
Yeah.
I'm proud. So the purpose of episode 1 is, I think that we're ready to do like a deep dive on our background. So like I said, we have already filmed this, but it didn't come out. The footage did not come out the way that we wanted to. So God has given us a second chance. So I think that now we're going to be able to tell our story more concise and more straight to the point, and just be as open as possible.
Yeah.
So, you want me to start?
Yeah, ladies first.
Can
you pass the water though?
Yes.
It's getting quite parched.
let me get some too.
Straight through, no cuts, no edits. We're just being real with y'all.
Oh, there's nothing like lemon water. That's so good. So I hope my audio is okay. We are new. Don't judge. I'm pretty sure after this episode is like cut and put out to the world, that we'll just get better and better every time, God willing. So my full name is Roxanne Adiva Tran. Legally, that's my legal name. I was born June 8th, 1987. I grew up in Piscataway, New Jersey, as did you, for a good part of your life. But for me, I've grown up in Piscataway, New Jersey forever, for the most part. So let's start from the beginning, shall we?
Sure.
Beginning. So my earliest memories are not good ones. My earliest memories are looking back, my earliest memories are tumultuous ones, violent ones. Those are the ones that stuck with me. So my very the earliest memory that I can think back to is the time of when I was getting abused. I am a survivor of child sexual abuse, and I am healed from that now, so I am totally okay to talk about it without crying. It's not going to make me cry anymore, so I'm past that. But I want to put this out there because it has a lot to do with who I am and how I grew up and how like my brain developed because of it. When I first started getting abused, I believe I was 4. I had to be like 4 or 5. I was extremely young. And the memories that I have of it are pretty vivid. So that will never leave me. But that also, like, I know that what happened to me plays a part in who I am. Like, I'm talking about it here for a reason. So my earliest memories of childhood are abuse. And I had a babysitter who was a grandpa, and that person was that family was close friends with my parents at the time, so they trusted the grandpa of the family to watch me. At that time, I was an only child, and I think my sister was like on the way or something like that. So that's my earliest memory. And then after that time, I went from one abuser to another. I moved on. My parents had allowed the neighbor to babysit us, and that neighbor's grandpa was the main person that watched us, and that grandpa also took advantage of me. But as far as I know, it was just only me at that time. It was me and my middle sister. So from what I know and what she can recall, that never happened to her. It was only me. So thank God it was only one of us. But so that whole start of my life kind of trickled into me as a whole growing up. So abuse that was never revealed. I guess I never told anyone because I didn't know that was like something for you to tell. So I guess that made me a liar from like a very young age. And that kind of overflowed really until like my teen years. In my house, it was just my parents. I'm gonna just call a spade a spade. My parents didn't like each other that much. Well, it just wasn't like a happy home for the most part. I can remember that every single vacation we went on, there was always a fight between my parents. It was every single one. There's not one vacation I can think of that there wasn't a fight. So the home life was not a happy one, and my memories in my past was not a happy one. So obviously when I get into a teenage mode, like I have no clue who I am, who I'm supposed to be. All I know is that I want to numb myself. So I start partying from the age of 15. I start going clubbing in clubs that I'm not supposed to be in. I use people's older friends, I guess, IDs to get me into the club, and that started early drinking, early smoking, things of that nature, like stuff that you would not want your teenager to be doing, right? That led into me making really bad decisions as a young adult. So I ended up getting pregnant with my first son at the age of 19. And even at 19, I still had no idea who I was. And I still was not even remotely close to like letting go of my youth. So I just kept partying, I kept drinking, kept doing all the stuff that you're not supposed to do. And that relationship turned abusive. So I had to end that for the sake of my son. So the theme of my overall like beginning stages of my life was just I just went through it in terms of like abuse, and then abuse turning into ignorance and looking for love in the wrong places, the typical daddy issue type of teenager. And it took a long time for me to actually grow out of that. So when I gave birth to my first son, I was not ready to let go of my party life. So, okay, cut number 1. So the camera just cut out, but I'm just keep going with my story. So, where was I? I was talking about, my dad. Yeah. Shout out to my dad and to my grandpa for literally helping me during that time, because they can see that I wasn't ready to let go of my party life. So I was just doing whatever the hell I wanted to do. And they were there to like pick up the pieces in terms of like being a single mom, so they were like helping me watch Savian and stuff during that time. Like, I wish I had my mom, but she was on the other side of the country, and that is just a whole nother trauma in its own. So not being able to discern the types of people that I should be hanging out with, it put me in like a really dark place in terms of like trying to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing here. What is life? That's what it was. It was just all messed up during that time, I remember. So there came a time where I finally like pulled the veil over my eyes, basically, and looked at my life for what it was. And I was like, this is not it. No. This is not it. So what I did was I basically picked up everything that I had, including my son, and moved out to Las Vegas to stay with my mom, because I knew that what I was doing in that time of my life, that it was gonna just lead me to nowhere, because that's literally what it felt like. I was literally going nowhere. I was just partying, trying to survive as a mom. I didn't really have like a good job, so like money was low, and I was not enjoying life. So I was like, there has to be more to this. I need to separate myself so that I can see clearly of what I'm supposed to be doing. So that's what I did. I moved to Las Vegas to be with my mom, and then during that time when I was living in Vegas, I didn't meet, but I got reconnected with this beautiful specimen of a man. And he became pretty much like, I don't want to put it on you like this, but like my knight in shining armor, really. Like, even though you had no clue what you were doing yourself, you were just the best. Like, you were just so nice. You literally did not care that I had a kid, and you were just so like willing. You were just so willing to like be there and like share life with me in a way that nobody ever has before. So I immediately like took to you. As you probably wouldn't have seen it back then, because I probably wouldn't have admitted it to you. But like, I was hooked fast. I was hooked fast. But I wanted to, keep the chase cute. But I finally got my man, and he became Savian's full-time dad. And he basically showed me what true love was. Like, in all of the relationships that I've ever had in my life, including my parents, people that I've dated, or people that I've interacted in terms of like friends or whatever, I never felt true love until Tone came along. So you showed me how to be like a good friend, and you showed me how to be a good partner, even though you had a lot to learn yourself. But going from what I went through, like, I definitely paraphrased what I went through, but that was basically the context of what it was. And in terms of relationships, like, you were it. So I already knew right away that I wanted to be with you. So after I got with you, we'll talk about our marriage separately in a different episode, probably the next episode, because there is much to talk about in that department, because we were very young. So even though we did love each other so much, we still had no freaking clue what we were doing. But in terms of me individually, I knew that I had my love part of my life good at that point. I knew that you were it forever. But in terms of like what I was going to be doing in terms of like a career or what my purpose in life was, I still was not sure. I had gained a lot of skills along the way. Like I've been wanting to be a photographer ever since I was 10 years old, and I made that dream a reality for me. And I still work as a photographer sometimes, but I picked up a lot of other things like makeup. I do a lot of makeup for clients and stuff like that, weddings. During the pandemic, I picked up baking. I started a cookie business, or a cookie and cupcake, whatever, everything business. And what else did I do? Nails.
Lashes.
I did these, by the way. I didn't actually go through with the lashes, but there was just a lot.
Real estate?
Yes, I did study to get my real estate license, and I passed the test, but I never activated my license. So there was just a lot of avenues, and what I came to realize is that I tried to make myself so valuable by accumulating all of these skills because of everything that I went through in my past, and how that made me feel like I was nothing, like how I was like worthless because of, you know, what I went through. And what I went through didn't allow me to like develop my brain, you know, properly. Like the way that I thought was always different than everyone else because of the trauma that I had been through. And that took a toll on my confidence and like my sense of purpose. And out of the three of us, I have two other sisters. So out of the three of us, I was the only one that didn't finish college. Stupidly, because while I was trying to pursue college, I was living my life as a
single mom,
as a woman of the streets. Let me just say that. Like I was just out there.
But you wasn't like.
And I was a single mom.
You wasn't on the corner, though.
I wasn't on the corner. I wasn't on the corner. I was just partying.
You're just lost.
I was a lost sheep. Oh, yeah. My gosh. I was so lost. So, yeah, like I tried to do so many things, but nothing ever gave me the feeling of, oh, this is it forever. This is it forever. And, like, I never felt like I got God's anointing, even though...
You didn't find your purpose, yeah.
No, I haven't. I'd never... Like, up until that point, I didn't find my purpose.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until recently when I had the epiphany of, oh, I'm going to do a podcast that I realized that this is going to lead me into what my purpose is.
Yeah.
Because it's going to get me out there in terms of, like, the thing inside of me that I've just been wanting to share. You know, what you don't reveal won't heal. So this is me
unpacking.
Doing my unpacking and my revealing. And yeah, that's like pretty much the gist of it. And now I'm here and with you, and we're doing great, even though it took so much freaking work to get here. But it literally, all of those things that I mentioned that I tried doing all played a part in all of this. Yeah. Because, like, I have all of this equipment that
we've accumulated throughout the years. Mm-hmm.
And now it's being used purposefully and
in unison.
And I have you.
Yeah.
And that was the one thing that I really wanted when we first got married, was that we were going to do something together.
Right. And
it took a while.
It took a while to figure it out.
Over a decade, bro.
We had started.
We did a lot. But
like myself being a graphic designer and you being a photographer, like at that phase, like that's what our titles were.
Yeah.
I mean,
when we first got together.
Yeah, and I'm still a graphic designer, but it's just a tool.
Yeah. Right? I accumulated so many tools, did not know what they were all for, but now they are being used now. Yeah. My face is beat. Yeah. We got the camera on, we got the lights.
Yeah.
We got the nails done.
And it's nice to finally achieve that the what is it? I guess bucket list for us, because I thought we were gonna do something creative. I mean, this is creative, but I mean like in that, I don't know, studio,
like visual,
like studio agency kind of thing. Because I was doing design, you were doing photography. So my idea was like, oh, we're gonna do graphic design for brands and do
oh, you
product
wanted that
shooting,
so bad,
you know. But it just
you wanted
it
that
never
so
manifested. And I think, I know that it was that wasn't the route for us. That wasn't meant for us. And I think, as tumultuous as that has been, it's been worth it. You know, I've come to believe that. Echo. I've come to believe that you don't really get to the depth of things without putting the time and energy in. And like 10 years is a good amount of time.
10 years
To, you know how they say 10,000 hours.
Oh man, I can't wait until we start talking about our marriage, because we have a lot to talk about in that department.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
So I gave you the context of me, and I'm here now, and all those tools are still under my belt. But this pod is where I'm going to pour all of my energy, all of my efforts, and all of my love into. And I'm going to see where we can ride this thing out to.
Yeah.
So now that I, told pretty much my backstory, like, you can go ahead and tell yours.
All right. My origin story is also starts with child abuse.
Man. That's what we identified with when we first got together, right? Like, we did a lot of talking about what we went through.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we connected
on trauma.
Our relationship like was not founded, but we had that bridge, that relationship there, like similarities. Like, oh
yeah,
your childhood sucked. Your parents aren't the best parents.
Yeah.
We're both lost. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Maybe we can help each other find each other.
Yeah, two lost people trying to find their way together. I think it's taken a long time, but
a lot of times it doesn't work, but for us, it did.
It almost didn't work a few times.
Yeah.
But anyways, my origin story starts with my parents getting divorced when I was 4. Let me double back a little bit. I have 2 older siblings that are technically half siblings on my mom's side, and then I also have 4 half siblings on my dad's side. I'm the youngest of the 2 siblings I consider my immediate family, because I've grown up with them. Like, I've spent my entire life with them. But anyways, they are not. My sister is 19 years older than me. My brother's 16 years older than me. And so I don't really have that close-knit, like, sibling relationship with them, because, I was young. I was a toddler when they were in their teenage years. And so they were just different phases of life. But those are my 2 siblings that I consider my immediate, like, they are my brother, they are my sister, like, half. They're not half, they're like full. And then I have 4 half siblings on my dad's side that I don't keep in touch with. I know them. I don't keep in touch with my father. I've kind of cut off connection to that side just because of how my life has gone. But anyways, I was 4 when my parents split, and I ended up living with my father when he was when I was 4 or 5. Yeah, 4. No, 5.
Yeah, you said 4.
4. He moved to Brooklyn. Obviously, I guess they decided that it would be best for me to go with him. And I lived with him up till I was 10. And so those years have been primarily blocked in my memory bank. It was a rough time. Whatever reason ended up happening, my dad ended up dating or getting into a relationship with this Russian woman who was actually very nice to me. And so we ended up moving into her 1-bedroom apartment. And I would... What you doing?
You can see it in the camera.
Can you?
Yeah.
Oh. I would get beat by my dad pretty often.
Man. Me too.
Pretty often I was not allowed to leave the building, the apartment building we were in. I made friends with one of these girls that was in the apartment building because her grandmother would watch me and, you know, take me to school when we were younger. And she's still my friend to this day. She's my oldest friend. Don't keep as much contact as I'd like, but she's doing her own thing. I'm doing my own thing, but she has always been there. And yeah, so I wasn't allowed to leave the apartment building. I wasn't allowed to go hang out. I guess that was my dad's way of protecting me, but it was like confining me, limiting me to like a normal childhood. I also was exposed to sexual behavior at a young age. I don't know if like I don't know if you could consider it sexual abuse because it wasn't done to me. There wasn't like
sexual awareness. I would say, at a young
so
age.
Like I for sure at least age 6 I remember like, so again, this is we're living in a 1-bedroom apartment, right? So it's in the 1-bedroom, it's my dad and his girlfriend on one side of the bedroom, it's me on the other side. So
and it's like a small room.
Yeah.
It's New York.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Brooklyn.
Yeah. If I had to guess, like maybe like a 30 by 40.
I don't know.
Like a 30 by 40 foot.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, that's got to be wrong. Maybe like a 20 by 30 foot. But anyways, so
it's
I
New
would
York.
wake up.
How big could it be? It's
I
New
would
York.
wake up in the middle of the night to like sounds, moaning, and I'm like, what is that? But you know, the lights are off. It's dark, but I can see, you know, the light from the street is coming through the window, the one window in the apartment or in the bedroom, and from there I can see their silhouettes moving. And it's, you know, middle of the night, and it's legs up, thrusting,
legs up, ass out.
you know what I mean? And
you were wait, how old?
Sexual sounds. I'm like 6, at least 6.
That's
and
too
then
young.
this happens, you know, all the way up until I leave. But anyways, so yeah, that was my first encounter with sexual awareness. And like at the time I didn't understand what it was. So I, you know, all right, that's weird. Well, I'm just gonna close my eyes and turn over and go to sleep. Go back to sleep.
That's happened to me.
Yeah, and it's multiple times.
It's
like
weird.
not once, not twice, not 3 times. Like,
Oh my gosh.
like
A lot. Often?
more than I can count on 2 hands.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
wow.
Like,
What the freak?
if you think about it, I left living
like the fact that they could not just let you sleep on the couch out in the living room or something. It's like so disrespectful.
But either way, so that happened. And then his girlfriend was also like I said, she was nice. She never did anything physically harm me or abuse me verbally or anything, but she was a drunk, or an alcoholic, I should say. And I guess that's because she was dealing with her own trauma. And so she would get drunk on the weekends, and like I could tell, at a young age, I'm gonna be like, oh, like this feeling of like, oh, it's gonna be one of those days.
Oh.
It's just like,
oh, baby.
And then so like she would get drunk and like go through her emotions and cry and like be up and down, like saying things that in Russian that I couldn't understand. She wasn't Russian, I'm sorry, she was Polish. Correction. But yeah, so she would say things in Polish, and I remember she would get drunk and sit in the middle of the room and pee.
What?
Like just pee herself.
Like crisscross applesauce, I'ma just pee?
Yeah. And like, mind you...
Well, like, sit in it.
Yeah, and mind you, the bathroom is like right outside the...
Hold on. I'm just like picturing it. So she's like sitting in the middle of the floor.
Sitting in the middle of the floor.
With her cup of alcohol. Just like crisscross, just like peeing. But like, what's the expression? What's the... Is she just
drunk.
looking?
Like, that... and then like... just talking about whatever she's talking about. I guess going through her emotions, just like why.
And you, as a kid, were just sitting there?
I was like in my bed.
In your bed? Oh.
Just watching this happen, and like.
And where was your dad?
I don't know.
What would he say about the pee?
Blocked out. I don't know.
Oh my. Okay.
I guess she would get up and clean herself, but.
Okay.
That's also the same like area I would sit in to play my Super Nintendo.
Okay. Wow.
So it's like,
would it
and like
get
I said,
cleaned
I
up?
blocked off a lot of my memory, my childhood.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
that is definitely traumatizing.
I would be beaten almost every weekend.
Was your dad drunk too?
No.
No?
He just like was.
So he would beat you and he was sober.
He would just get angry at me and just beat me.
Sober.
Like, yeah, like hit me with brooms, hit me with bats, hit me with
bats.
Yeah, like a wooden baseball bat, a broomstick. I remember one time we were eating soup
chills.
at dinner, like, and he got mad at me for having my elbow on the table, and just like just pushes my whole face into the bowl of soup. Just like boom, right?
Really?
And like
that is so mean.
Yeah, I'm like eating, I got my elbow on the table like this, eating, and then boom. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh my god!
Tried to drown me a few times in the bathtub.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, you never told me that.
Yeah.
You never told me that. No, you didn't. I would have remembered that.
But yeah, he would fill it up and then like.
Are you kidding?
Put a head in the water and then pull me out.
Like in the movies.
Yeah. That's why I said, like, I blocked out a lot of my childhood. Like, I just tried not to think about it, but it's like, this stuff happened.
See, that one I didn't know.
So, well, I thought I had told you.
No, I would have remembered that.
But,
what?
So, yeah, 10th. So, age 10, this is beginning of 5th grade. I, one day after school. So, at this point, I'm walking myself to school by myself.
Age 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one day after school, like school ends, and I go to a friend's house, and I come back and it's maybe like 5, 6, something like that. School lets out at 3.
Okay.
And I come in the house, in the apartment, and he just starts going off.
This was like the worst time that you could remember?
This is the last time.
Oh, okay. This is the last time. Say that. All right. Why do I keep hitting this? Sorry.
I can't even remember exactly what happens, but like I remember starting to get yelled at and then just getting hit, just like punch, slap, thrown over the freaking not the dining table. There was like a table in the living room, just thrown across that.
Oh my gosh! And you were little.
I'm 10.
You were little.
Like
Like
I'm Cairo's
your
age.
body was little.
I'm Cairo's age.
Yeah, but he's kind of like he's a little bit.
Cairo and I had the Cairo had very similar build to me. Like
Oh my gosh!
just skinny Asian boy. But
Okay.
by the end of it, I don't even know how long it was. But by the end of it, I'm black and blue all over. More black and blue than the actual regular skin tone. Head to toe, got lumps all over my body, big lump on my head. Like I couldn't even go to school the next day. You know what I mean? Like they knew,
So
like between him and his girlfriend, they knew that I could not go to school the next day.
Gosh.
So I stayed home.
Wait, she didn't try to stop it?
I guess not.
She never did?
But when it was done, no, I guess not. But when he was, when he was done, she called my sister or my mom.
Okay.
I actually can't remember, but she called either one, my sister or my mother, and they came. Someone came and took me, and eventually my mom sets up like an appointment with a doctor to come, to take me in, check me out, and they take pictures of my body, which I wish I still had those pictures just to see.
No.
I would love to see.
No.
Because I want to see if
I feel like your mom wouldn't have it.
True? Like, are my memories true or am I exaggerating it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I don't.
But even my mom, like when I speak to her about it, she says like I was black and blue all over.
Okay, then you weren't exaggerating. No.
So yeah, she took the photos with the doctor. Everything went to court. Had a custody battle. She won. And that was really the end of that era of my childhood. During that whole time, but living with my dad between those ages, like the best time was every other weekend when I would go to my sister's house in Jersey. And,
your solace.
Yeah, and then every Sunday night having to go back would be tormenting, dreadful. Like
I can
crying.
imagine.
Like, please don't make me go back. Like, please don't make me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, crying every Sunday night having to go back was dreadful.
Yeah. I'm sorry you had to go through all that.
Yeah. If you think about it, my parents split at 4. I lived with my dad from 4 to 10. My mom wins custody at 10 and decides that the best option for me is to live with my sister, which was the right call because, who knows where I would have ended up had I been living with her in Brooklyn.
He could have looked for you and found you.
That or I could have probably gotten into the wrong crowd living in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Brooklyn was.
Mm-hmm. Especially growing up abused.
Yeah.
You find solace in the wrong places.
So, I'm thankful for her, but I'm also a little bitter. I've never, my mom wasn't my mom.
You wanted your mom.
You know what I mean? My mom wasn't my mom. My dad wasn't a good dad. I didn't.
And your sister wasn't your mom.
I didn't learn anything from my dad as far as how to be a man. And then my sister was my mother figure, but at the same time, she's my sister. Like, she's not really my mom.
Yeah.
It was kind of like forced upon her. She had to take on that role. Like, even though, family is family and all that stuff, but like, she was a young adult living her life and had her own like fiance, boyfriend, everything like that. And it just felt like I was a bird thrusted into their life and an extra burden, but it
wasn't your fault, babe.
Thank you. I know that. It just sucks,
Yeah.
Like, I didn't get a typical like parental situation.
But if you didn't go through everything you went through, then we probably wouldn't be sitting here.
Right. And that's the chaos I went through.
Yeah.
And I found my purpose through that chaos.
Yeah. You see what I mean, guys? Chaos.
Yeah, like
the chaos that other people can ensue on other people's lives is insane.
I definitely wouldn't be the person I am had I had a different life, obviously.
Mm-hmm. We probably wouldn't have connected through our trauma.
Yeah, for sure. But I think... And
now? Who are you now?
I think through that trauma, I'm learning that I developed like a sense of... I don't know how to correctly term, but like, I'm okay being alone because I've always been alone.
Like independence?
Independent, but also like...
Is solitude the word?
People come and go in my life.
Oh.
Ever since I was...
So you accepted that no one's permanent?
Right, like at some point, someone is going to...
I am permanent. I'm not going anywhere.
For a while, I wasn't sure of that.
Not my fault.
That's because of our chaos, but I'm glad that I don't feel that now. But anyways, yeah, it's because of what I went through growing up. It was always like it kept people at arm's length. Like I never let someone get too close. And then like growing up after I lived with my sister, it wasn't like my closest person was my sister. It was like now I'm seeking belongingness and people who I can relate to and resonate with, and those I spent a lot of time hanging out with friends rather than building relationship with my family. But again, I'm not thinking like that. Like I'm a kid still, and I'm not aware that, hey, family should always come first. At that, between those young teen years, so I want to go hang out with my friends. I want to go do cool things.
That's how I was. Just trying to get away. We did a lot of numbing.
Yeah. Because we didn't have good home situations that we felt like we had to not be there. We had to not be at home to feel safe, to be okay, to not feel pressured or stressed. So yeah, I definitely was like, all right, well, if I lose a friend, whatever. If my mom doesn't want to be here, my mom doesn't want to be here, or like close to me, or build a relationship, or I don't gotta get close to my brother or sister like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of where I was at.
Yeah. And where are you now?
Now I value relationships, and I value my family, and I value my relationship with myself as well as with God, Holy Spirit. I think obviously my relationship with you and our kids matters to me. and there's still a lot of improvement to be made. And I think that's always going to be. I always think that's going to be a daily thing, like until I'm not on this earth anymore. It's like every day is an opportunity to be better as a person, and then also build better bridges with people,
connections.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really proud of you. I'm proud of us for persevering.
Yeah.
Finding the purpose within all of that chaos, because I'm sure there's a lot more, like in between all of those pillars that we talked about that happen, and all of that mess had a lot to do with being in a chaotic state.
Yeah, for sure.
But now we're in a better place, thank God. We have each other. We're definitely not perfect, but we are progressing for sure. And as individuals, we both have our own personal testimony, and we have a testimony as a couple. And I'm just so proud of us to have gotten to this place where we feel safe enough to share it with the world, and hope that somebody out there doesn't feel alone in their struggles and their traumas.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a blessing to be here with you.
Yeah,
I love you.
I love you.
So that is pretty much the background context. I'm sure you guys are going to learn way more as we go through these episodes, but what can our viewers or listeners expect from us moving forward? You're like
relationships, whether it's parent to children or husband to wife.
Talking about relationships.
Yeah.
Navigating relationships for sure. I think between Tone and I, there's a lot to talk about there. Between us and our parents, there's a lot to talk about there.
Yeah.
Between us and our kids, there's a lot to talk about there. And just us and other people. I hope, like we mentioned earlier, I really hope that we can find some good guests to bring on to add some more light to what we're trying to do here. What else? Honestly, I'm just excited to get to talk to you all the time, because first of all, I can't get enough time as it is. Tone works a full-time job during the day, so he's gone from, well, it depends, because sometimes I go to the gym, but he has a job that takes him away from us for at least 8 hours. So by the time he gets home, it's all about dinner, kids, and sure. What time is it now? It is almost. It's
almost 1.
12:30. It's 12:30 at night. You see what I'm talking about? Yeah. I barely get any time, but I will take it as I can get it.
Yeah, and I'm sure other people, other couples, married couples can relate to, with kids. It almost feels like a revolving door. The weekend is never long enough.
Cycle.
Then the weekend's never long enough, and then it's Monday through Friday. Wake up.
There's not enough time
come
in the day.
Home, dinner, put the kids to bed, and then maybe find an hour or two with my significant other.
Yeah, it's not enough.
If that,
it's not enough. So we have to find a way to get you home full time.
Yeah.
We gotta push this pod like we never pushed anything before.
Life is not about living to work.
Yeah, the hamster wheel. We're trying to get you out of the hamster wheel right now so that we can do this.
And and I highly believe that no person is going to truly be happy until you're out of that cycle. Like,
yeah.
it's just...
Because life is not about money. It's about it's about having that money so that you can do whatever you want.
Right.
It's not about, I'm sitting on a pile of cash. Yay. No.
It gives you the freedom to
I just want to like do whatever, whenever we feel like it. That's like the goal.
But we'll talk about our beliefs and all that. Our
we have a lot
at another time.
We have a lot to talk about, you guys, and we're so excited. If you got to the end of this pod, thank you so much for sitting with us through this like hour and 10 minutes of us talking. We hope that you've gotten a little bit more insight on us as people. We're excited to keep this pod going because there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to share. We welcome any comments that you guys have or any questions that you have. Put it in whatever description, wherever you're watching or listening. We appreciate you guys so much. Like, you have no idea. Even if it's like even just one person that completely listened to this whole thing, we're grateful for you. We're grateful for that.
Absolutely. We're hoping to continue sharing and helping our listeners heal or find their light and purpose in this chaotic world.
Yep. So all of our links to our personal like social medias and all that stuff is going to be somewhere here where you can find it. So if you want to connect with us, go ahead and feel free to do that. But until next time,
y'all have a blessed day.
I love you.
I love you.
We love you.
And y'all can't do nothing about that.
Peace.
Peace.
Good job, baby.
Thank you, honey. You did a good job, too.
Sometimes life will push you down, make you fall onto the ground.